where I start trying to do it on the recording, and I'm like, it's sloppy. I'd rather make that more poignant.
Gotcha.
What's your name, bro? Just so I can.
Nick.
I don't see it on the bottom. Nick.
Yeah. I think you did a video with Dart already, right? One video.
Me?
Yeah. Didn't y'all talk about LeBron or something? Or am I getting you confused with someone else?
Oh yeah. That was
yeah.
week.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna use the bathroom, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Cool, man. Yeah. So yeah, and I'm gonna say this on the show is like when we start. Honestly, the way it came up was he was like, "Yeah, man, let's talk." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. We'll do like a little interview or whatever." I had no idea it was being recorded. I had no idea I was gonna have to back up on this shit that I was talking. So I'm ready to do that. I can double down on a lot of that stuff, but honestly, man, I was just going, and then he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna put this on and blah blah blah." I'm like, "Whoa, what? Okay, I didn't know that." So,
I hear you.
And I was telling him after the show, like, "Look, man, I can go either way on this argument. Like, if you want me to go the other way, I can flip and speak for Jordan." So it really doesn't matter. I was just trying to be, I guess, entertaining for the interview.
Yeah, I do my stuff live too. So yeah, like he interviewed me, and like I knew he was gonna post it, and then I never thought it would turn into like debates though. I mean, I told him I like doing debates and whatnot, but it's been fun so far, so it's kind of fun just to. I like talking shit basketball like anyone else, right? So yeah, and it's
always fun to talk.
Yeah, it's definitely a close conversation. I'm not like a LeBron hater or anything like that. I think he's an amazing player, so I'll probably bring that up as well. Like I don't. Some people they'll be like, "Oh man, like MJ's the best, LeBron sucks," and it's like, "Oh, LeBron's the best, MJ sucks," and it's like they're two like of the top 5 probably players of all time. I think. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking nuances here, essentially. We're trying to just edge out the other one.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Yeah, it's I'm going to mention that, too, is, like, look, this is no slight on either player.
Yeah, and, like, he emailed me today, like, 10:30 or something, and he was like, he's like, "Hey, you want to fill in for a guy who's not going to show up?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "MJ versus LeBron." And I was like, "All right." So I've been at work all day, like looking up stats, like having a deep dive a little bit and get ready,
I got a couple good ones. I got a couple good stats. Nothing I didn't prepare for hours. I jotted down a couple notes. I'm not out here to like, be a science person about this or like, I'm not. I know who I am. I'm not trying to like do something crazy.
Yeah.
But I got a couple things that may back up some arguments, and that's about it. Nothing crazy.
Cool.
All right. So just to verify and clarify, if there's any confusion, Nick will go first, Chris will go second. There'll be 5 rounds, 3 minutes each. I will propose a rapid fire round. I feel like both of you guys will accept that, where it's just more of an open discussion. And then, yeah.
5 times 3, that's a lot of words. I don't know if I can fill up all that time.
Yeah. I like 2 minutes better because you get to, but
like more rapid fire, because 3 minutes is a lot of time.
Yeah, when you actually sit down and think about it, yeah.
3 minutes is a long, yeah. So
but you don't have to use all the time. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Cool.
So are you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Roll. Break a leg.
Real fast, Chris. I forgot to ask you last time, and I know I brought it up. Did you have anything you wanted to plug or me to plug or anything for any sort of social media or any sort of things you do online or? No.
Do you have a channel?
Okay. No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just here for the laughs, man. Have a good time talking with the guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. I'm gonna start recording. And I'm just gonna start when it's recording. I'm just gonna ask how both of you are doing today. So, all right. Chris, Nick, how are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Excellent. Thank you for asking.
So just to clarify, we're going to be doing 5 3-minute rounds with Michael Jordan versus LeBron James on who's the GOAT. Nick will be starting, and Chris will be following up in second. And if you two want, we will do a rapid-fire round at the end of this. Do you have any questions?
I don't know if it'll be necessary after this. We're going to see what happens.
Yep. All right. Are you ready, Nick?
I'm ready.
All right. Watch the timer, and you're on the clock.
All right. First of all, thanks for having me. I also, first off, want to say LeBron isn't, I'll be arguing affirmatively for Michael Jordan being the GOAT versus LeBron, or just who's better. First off, LeBron is an amazing player. He's had an amazing career. He's easily top 5. Even if you didn't like him, he's top 10 easy. Maybe top 3. You could argue, the best. I think he's worthy of the GOAT debate. I just want to get that out of the way. But it is my personal belief that MJ is better than LeBron. And, we can go into stats and all that in the next couple rounds or whatever. But in my opinion, this argument is ultimately a debate of longevity versus peak and dominance. Again, if you were to ask people, would you rather have a guy who dominates for 10 years, a 10-year window, let's just say, brings you 6 rings, 5 MVPs, 2 3-peats, versus a guy who has a 20-year career but only brings your franchise 4 rings and 4 MVPs? I think just looking at that in a quick snapshot, you can see why anyone, or in my opinion, why MJ would easily be considered a better player and a better basketball player, accomplishment. Again, we can get into the stats later, accolades, things that he has achieved on the floor, and the resume he ultimately has put together. I just think LeBron has not yet reached that peak in that era of dominance that Jordan has. Again, LeBron's had an amazing career. He has played better than anyone in terms of how old he is to this point with his consistency. Probably, there's probably only 3 other players you could argue that maybe played this well into how old he is and how long he's been playing. But at the end of the day, I think this is going to be a debate about peaks versus longevity. LeBron, again, has built a great resume, but I don't think he has reached that mountaintop that Jordan ultimately got to during his time in the NBA in the 90s. And again, I think Jordan, with what he's done, is more untouchable than anything LeBron has done or accumulated. And I think accumulation is a key word for LeBron. He has accumulated a lot in his career. But again, he still has not accumulated many of the things Jordan did in 5 less years in the NBA. And he probably will still never reach many of the peaks that Jordan reached, even if he continues to play well. And we'll get into some of the nuances about how Jordan won versus LeBron and some stats. But that's ultimately what I'm going to start with. I think ultimately this is an argument and a debate of Jordan's peaks and dominance, 6 rings, 2 3-peats, coming out of retirement. His accolades, I think, stack up more than LeBron's in terms of MVPs and top tier versus LeBron's longevity and what he's put together.
Chris, you're on the clock.
Well, so, Nick, going back to what you said, first of all, these are 2 great and amazing players. I mean, we're talking about the top 2 of any generation. I know that there's some argument there with the Mount Rushmore, what order it is, but, I mean, let's be realistic. This whole topic, the reason that we're here today is for these 2 guys, right? So I think we can both agree that they're going to be top 2. And I don't want to slight one player by taking another player's side, I don't want to bring up anything negative about Mike. Mike was great. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be able to watch both eras. And, I guess the first argument is LeBron's era is still going. The man has put a lot into his craft, obviously into his body, his health, his fitness, and he's done a lot more. There are countless photos of Michael Jordan and his cigars, and one would ask, how much better could he have been had he not smoked? But anyway, let's not go there. One thing I want to bring up is impact, right? When we're talking about LeBron James, we are talking about the most impactful player that has ever walked the face of the earth. My man will lead his team in everything. Points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals. What stat else am I missing? There are so many stats that LeBron has been number 1 consistently for his team that it's outrageous. Now, if we look at the flip side, right? Michael Jordan, right? He had Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen actually led in every statistical category except for points. And that's because Mike was a ball. I remember, and we've all watched, right? I remember the games. Michael Jordan would be 11 of 32, 15 of 41. What kind of shot percentage is that? I mean, LeBron was a lot more efficient. He was actually a better three-point shooter if you look at the statistics. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why. Now, there are other things that go into this debate, right? I mean, we talk about, social awareness and taking a stand on stuff and the sneakers and the Gatorade and all that stuff, right? But on the court, who would you rather start your team with? LeBron James or Michael Jordan? I've got to go with LeBron, especially if I'm a player, because then I know I'm going to score a lot of baskets because I get some assists as well. Where, Mike, he's putting up that shot. And unless you get the rebound, you're probably not going to see it twice in one possession. Anyway, I'll leave you with these last couple seconds.
All right, Nick, you're on the clock. Round 2.
Yeah, I mean, I do find the whole people bring up Scottie Pippen argument a little interesting. I mean, if we remember, Jordan, his first 7 years at Chicago, was an amazing player. Defensive player of the year. He's the only player to twice get 100 blocks and 200 steals. Pippen has never done that. So I don't think Pippen has always led everything all the time on the Bulls. I'm sure that Jordan has led in steals before, points, etc. But, it's kind of funny because people knock Jordan for his early years until Pippen got there, right? Year 7, they won the...
You mean like getting swept in the playoffs and stuff like that? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like LeBron did in the finals. But anyways,
yeah.
Speaking of that, let's just get to it, I guess. Whenever we talk about legendary, right? What exactly is legendary about LeBron in terms of the ultimate GOAT debate? No big shots, no really series-defining wins or anything like that. In his 7th year at Cleveland, he had to leave and go join Wade and Bosh. And so I think it's funny when people bring up Pippen that Jordan stayed in Chicago in his 7th year, began his first three-peat. I mean, that was all Jordan leading that team and bringing them to that promised land. Whenever LeBron James got to his 7th year and had to leave to go to Miami, why did he do that? Because he was chasing Jordan. Jordan had won a ring by that point, and LeBron hadn't. That is ultimately why he went and joined up with Wade and Bosh to win not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but only 2 rings. And he chokes in the finals. He choked against the Mavs. He has Kyrie bail him out against the Warriors. He has Ray Allen bail him out when they were in Miami. Anthony Davis could have been argued that he was a better player than LeBron whenever they won in LA. Everywhere LeBron goes, someone has to bail him out in the biggest moments. Again, LeBron's biggest shot came against that series against Orlando, which saved them from being swept. Talk about sweeps. He almost got swept by Dwight Howard in Orlando. I mean, that really says everything. And I still haven't even gotten to the stats. The stats are pretty clear as well. But when we talk about LeBron, I can't really think of any career-defining plays other than that block on Iguodala, which the NBA had to suspend Draymond Green and extend the series, and essentially Kyrie bailed him out and whatnot. That's the only play he's really got. There's just one. It's not even a clutch shot. It's anything. He just chased down Iguodala. That's his career-defining play, is a block on Iguodala. So I think when we talk about who really is the GOAT and things like that, there's so many moments of Jordan pulling his team through. Again, 6 rings. LeBron keeps getting there and failing because he has, even with joining people, he still can't get it done. Jordan stayed in Chicago and he built a dynasty twice. And LeBron has to run from place to place in order to get his rings, and he still doesn't have as many.
Chris, you're on the clock.
You said so many things that have irked me, and I'm sure a lot of people. And I hope I have enough time to address them all. I mean, let's start with your last point right there. Well, no. Okay, you're talking about big moments, right? LeBron never had a big moment. You brought it up. That block was one of the most incredible plays you will ever witness in your entire life. There's actually a whole documentary dedicated to that very block, where they do the math and they show the statistics and the distance that he had to cover in order to get that block. And also, we were talking about a 72 team. I mean, dude, 73, I apologize. Dude, we're talking about probably one of the greatest teams ever assembled. They were down in that series. Sure, Draymond got suspended. Excuse me, whose fault was that? Was that Draymond's fault or was that the ref's fault?
After LeBron talked to him.
Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. I can talk to you all you want. If I can talk you off your game, that means I'm an even better strategist, right? I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? And let's talk about this. Michael Jordan, his last year before leaving the Bulls, right? They had a record of 57 wins and 25 losses. The next year, they had 55 wins and 27 losses. Okay, so don't talk to me about a big drop off. He was the greatest player. They still had Scottie Pippen, who was in the MVP conversation, and they were one bad call away from making the making the finals that year. So it wasn't that much of a drop off. Now, when LeBron leaves a team, they're in the lottery next year.
Are you done?
I'm done. Go ahead. You can have my minute 30.
Okay, I'll take his minute 30 and my 3. First of all, Wade had already won a ring before LeBron showed up. So I don't know about this whole, again, LeBron has to go and join other people all the time. And he gets bailed out by Kyrie Irving. He gets bailed out by Ray Allen. He gets bailed out by Anthony Davis. He gets bailed out by the refs, having to just spin Draymond Green. Again, I don't really, and again, I still don't get the hate towards Jordan early in his career. He won a Defensive Player of the Year. LeBron's never done that. He's been 9-time All-Defense. LeBron's never done that. Again, it's really, when we talk about who's played with who, I really don't think it's close to who's had to run to other players and who's had to scapegoat themselves and actually ride the backs of other people. Jordan never rode the back of anyone else. And why didn't, if Pippen is so good and the Bulls were so good, they still didn't win. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter what you say. They didn't get it done. And for all the people who say Scottie was such a great player when Jordan left, his numbers increased by this much across the board. This much. Literally not even a 1 to 2% increase. But yet his averages, like his shooting percentage and all that, everything went down, showing he couldn't do it, he couldn't handle it. He needed Jordan. Jordan did not need Pippen at all. Jordan was dominating long before Pippen ever got there. And so I've done some stats too, and I think we can all agree that Jordan's peak is easily better than MJ's. The way he performs in the finals, he shoots better three-point percentage in the playoffs than LeBron. He has a better free throw percentage, more points. And if we average everything out through Jordan's career, he is going to be higher in every single category than LeBron, other than rebounds and assists. That's it. More steals, more blocks, more points by about 4,000. Again, I'm not really concerned with LeBron's longevity. It doesn't impress me as much as someone who dominated the NBA for 10 years and got 6 rings and 5 MVPs out of it. LeBron piggybacking on other people and having to get his rings that way, and his is just kind of sticking around and padding the stats, but not really having much to show for it, and he's still chasing Jordan. He is still chasing Jordan, and he has nothing to show for it, really. It's when we talk about peaks and comparing LeBron and Jordan, to me, it's not even close. Like, if you, as a fan, would rather have a 20-year career from someone who brought you 4 rings versus a 10-year career from someone who brought you 6 rings, more MVPs, and ultimately did more in that 10 years, every fan would tell you they want the 6 rings, the 5 MVPs, and the total dominance that Jordan had for 10 years. I'm a Dirk fan. I can tell you everything about having a 20-year dominant career with not much to show for it in terms of the ultimate GOAT debate, right? Everyone would take the ultimate peak of Jordan over the longevity of LeBron. And ultimately, that's what it comes down to. People would take Jordan's peak over LeBron's longevity.
Well, there's a lot that we can say to that. I mean, I've said it before in another show with us that, LeBron took a bunch of cab drivers to the finals consistently for 9 years in a row. I mean, the stuff that he's done in his career is amazing.
In the weak East, the East was so weak.
When you look at Michael Jordan, he's always had a stacked team. We're talking Scottie Pippen. He had access to Tony Kukoc. Ron Harper, who was a 20-plus point per game scorer before he came over. Went and recruited Dennis Rodman because you lost Horace Grant, and then Horace Grant was dunking on your whole team in the Eastern Conference Finals when he was on the Orlando Magic. Okay? Not only that, Jordan cheated the fans. Sure, he had the injury year. That was early in his career. That's not a cheat. But my man left to play baseball. I mean, come on. What kind of commitment is that? We're talking about LeBron James, who committed himself to the game, to his fans, to his craft consistently, and he's still doing it today. Now, if we were actually to do the math, let's do a fantasy scenario real quick. Let's say Jordan played the same amount of years as LeBron. Do you think he'd be number 1 in scoring, or do you think LeBron would still be number 1?
If you average out Jordan's career, he'd be up by 4,000 points right now over LeBron. 4,000 points. I've done the math.
I wanted you to say that, but the fact is he didn't. Okay, he couldn't cut it. All right, he had to cut his career short. He gave up his prime years, and then he came back with the Washington Wizards. Give me a break. Like, listen, I said this in the beginning. I don't want to talk bad about Mike, but we can't say that LeBron isn't the greatest. The stats are there, man. I mean, he's number one. He just passed Kareem. I mean, that's impossible. Like, when you look at those numbers, how does somebody do that? Now, granted, he did have more years to play, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to go ahead and make that a negative for LeBron. I mean, he's taken the time and care and the money to make sure he presents his body and his game in the best way he can every year, every season. And he's done that. You know, sure, he's older now. You know, he's getting a couple of nicks and bruises and having to sit out some games. But, you know, I will say this, and this is going to show my objectivity. The one thing I don't like about LeBron was all the flopping. I don't like the flopping, okay? I'm old school. I appreciate Jordan for that. You know, the flopping, he kind of got out of that, which is good. He hasn't done it lately. But it was really bad for a while. But again, on paper, man, I mean, you see all the numbers. Chips, sure. 6-4, Mike got him, right? Okay, finals MVPs, same thing because it goes with the chips, right? You got regular MVPs. Jordan has them beat 5-4. I get it. All NBA team, Jordan was there 11 times, but LeBron was there 19. That shows you the longevity, right? All-star appearances, 19 for LeBron, 14 for Jordan, so he was there pretty much every year. Defense, now that's where he's really got LeBron beat, is the 9-6 margin. But that block makes up for the other 3 years, if you ask me. That block is incredible.
That's like saying Jordan shot over Russell is like another championship or something. Again, did he do it or didn't he? Did he do it? Your own argument. He didn't do it.
It's the shot. I mean, you got the shot and you got the block. So, you know, I kind of like that. That's a debate in itself.
The reason why I'm not even really so much. I mean, I am impressed with LeBron's longevity. I've already stated that. But again, people think his longevity is like this untouchable thing. The reason why I bring up the averages of Jordan, if you played them out, it just shows you how good his peak was. And if he simply would have just stuck around and played, he'd be 4,000 points ahead of LeBron. That is an insane track record to be on, an insane trajectory. He would have more blocks than him. He would be top 15 in assists. For everyone who says how bad he was in assists, he'd be top 15 in assists. That's what I mean. If we average out LeBron's longevity versus what Jordan would have played, he only beats him in rebounds and I can't even remember what the other one is. Rebounds and
is it assists? It has to be assists.
Yeah, rebounds and assists. Yeah, look, Jordan would have more blocks than LeBron. He would have easily more points. Their total career shot percentage. I got it somewhere around here. Do you know it?
Yeah. So Jordan.
I know that Jordan had a better free throw percentage, 3-point percentage in the playoffs. Their field goal percentage in the playoffs about the same. He almost doubles up his steals. He averages 6 more points, which kind of negates his assist, LeBron's assist. The same in blocks. So again, if they are this close, right, with statistics, which I think most people would argue, LeBron still has more to show for it. So I don't really see just how by doing basic math and deductive reasoning, if they are so close statistically and so good at what they do, but Jordan has so much more accomplished and has reached such higher peaks than what LeBron has ever done. I mean, really, I don't really see how anyone gets around the fact thinking LeBron is better than Jordan. Also considering the fact that Jordan winning 3 rings with, we talk about help, right? Jordan's the only player to win a ring with only one other guy averaging double digits in points. He won a 3-peat with only one other kind of superstar all-star player. LeBron has had to have 2 more on almost every team that he's ever had to be with to win his rings. Jordan's first 3-peat with only Pippen is alone probably beats anything LeBron has done in terms of team help or accomplishing one thing as a single player and taking his team to the peak. I mean, Jordan has done more with less than what LeBron has ever had. It's really not even close. Like, Pippen is good because of Jordan, for the most part. I go the other way. People like to act like Pippen is good just to try and throw shade at MJ, and it couldn't be further from the truth.
I can't believe some of the stuff coming out of your mouth right now.
If Pippen was that good, his numbers would have jumped through the roof when Jordan left, but they didn't. They just stayed around the same.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't the stat earlier, right? The year with Jordan, they won 57 games. The year with Pippen, only no Jordan, they won 55 games. So we're talking about a 30-point per game score that we lost. And you know why they were still able to be successful? Because they passed the ball. Jordan wasn't throwing up 40 shots and shooting 14% from the field.
But didn't win.
Sure, he had a lot of points. But listen, man, if you put my grandmother out on the NBA court and give her 40 shots, she's going to average 30 points. I'm sorry. I can't get with that. LeBron did it way more efficiently with way less. When you look at his rosters, I mean, come on, dude. He was almost like Allen Iverson. I mean, Allen Iverson did it with nobody, too. It was kind of the same thing. I mean, who did Allen Iverson have? Eric Snow? Come on. Who did LeBron have? Larry Hughes? I mean, give me a break, man. He had nobody on his team. When he went to Miami, sure, they had the juggernaut. And guess what? He delivered. He won championships. And he lost to Tim Duncan. It's not like he lost to some cab driver that was, driving an NBA team. I mean, he lost to another Hall of Fame player. You said something earlier that really, really, irked me, man, was, he almost lost to Dwight Howard. Excuse me. Dwight Howard should be on that top 75 list. When you look at his numbers, he's probably the best big man that we've had in our era. I mean, I can't think of somebody who is better. Embiid, maybe over the long haul, if he keeps his butt from being injured and all that, might be able to come close. But look at Dwight Howard, man. Look at his stats. I mean, I think it's blasphemy that you said that. I think you should take it back. It's a horrible thing that you said, and they were a great team. Him, Jameer Nelson, I mean, they had a squad there. It's not like he lost to some bums. But another thing is, almost. I mean, the fact is he did hit the game-winning shot and he went to the finals. So, also, I mean, when you look at Jordan, over the years, the things that he's done in the social aspect by not saying certain things, I think makes him certainly less than an icon. Now, I wanted to keep it on the court, and we pretty much did that. We did that with stats and all that. But now that we've kind of done that, I'll call it a stalemate or very close. You can pick him who won this debate one way or the other. But now when you look at the social aspect, I mean, I think LeBron has way more impact, has done way more for the community. And he will continue to do so. Michael Jordan, he's not going to win the popularity contest. He's kind of stayed out of it. I mentioned it in the last time that we spoke that when that one reporter came out and said, shut up and dribble, that's exactly what Michael Jordan wanted to do. And LeBron did just the opposite. So, we kind of got to think of that stuff too. I know chips matter, but all things matter in this case. And if nothing else, man, it's been a great time kind of going back and forth with you. You're a great person to have on the show, and I really enjoyed myself.
There's one more round.
Oh.
Yeah, so also I want to say thanks to one of my subs
Final
here.
round.
The Bulls without Jordan, they lost in the second round, not the Eastern Conference Finals, almost going to the finals. So I want to make that clear. You talked about efficiency. Their career field goal percentage is 49.7 to 50.5. So that's not really that much better. Their PER for their careers, Jordan is above LeBron. He has a higher box plus minus. And then in the playoffs, see, this is what I'm talking about. LeBron has so many good stats in the regular season, and you yourself said LeBron brought home or won or whatever. Like, this goes back to, he hasn't. He has no, he has the one block in Iguodala, and after that, he really has no legacy-defining finals. That one series was really good. That one series was really good.
The left-hand shot against Toronto in the first round in Game 7. That was pretty cool.
Championships aren't won in the first round. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not really impressed with the things LeBron has done compared to Jordan. It's just not even close. Again, he has to go everywhere, and he gets bailed out all the time. Kyrie outperforms him in the fourth. Davis outperforms him in the fourth. Wade had to bring home a championship when he absolutely fell apart in the finals. Jordan never did that. Jordan never lost in the finals. Jordan was almost flawless for those 6 years. LeBron has nothing close to that. It's not even close. And you also said it. He is easily a better two-way player. And if you want to be in the ultimate GOAT conversation, you have to be a two-way player. There's almost no bones about it. But I want to get to the playoffs. The playoffs and numbers, you talk about efficiency. For all the things that people talk about, Jordan, he has a better three-point percentage. And this is all playoffs. He has a better player efficiency rating. He has a better box plus minus. He has a better, he was used more, had more minutes, had less turnovers. LeBron turns the ball over a lot. And again, it's just across the board, Jordan's numbers are better. Like, I will give you rebounds and assists, right? But if I get points, steals, and blocks, which Jordan would have passed LeBron in, all if he just simply played, I mean, It's with no like major career defining run or anything, right? LeBron never really put a team on his back and won. Jordan did it all the time. Again, he's getting bailed out by other people. If he would have stayed in Cleveland and had Miami or Wade and Bosh come to him, we're looking at a totally different legacy-defining moment. But the moment he went to Miami and he did that, he has simply created the first super team. He was running to try and win titles to keep up with Jordan. That is why he did that. And he was never able to do it. He never will do it. And again, I'm not so impressed with his points. I mean, Jordan just averaged it out. He'd be up by 4,000 points. We would be, if he was up by 4,000 points in the all-time point list right now, this wouldn't even be a conversation that anyone would even be willing to have. It wouldn't even be close.
The first super team, I'm sorry, you're just flat out incorrect on that one. There were many super teams before that. And one could argue the Bulls were. I mean, sure, you had Mike, you had Pippen. They went and got Rodman. I mean, come on. Like, they got Kukoc. You had Steve Kerr, who was statistically the most accurate three-point shooter ever in the NBA. I mean, they had a squad, man. Like, don't discount them.
They were a good team, but nothing compared to Wade and Bosh at the time. They were in their primes. The top 5 to 10 players in the league, 3 of them on one team, and couldn't win.
The reality is they both won championships, right? So let's kind of go a different route for a moment. Now, let me ask you a personal question. Do you play basketball at all? Have you?
Yeah, I played in high school and stuff.
Oh, fantastic. So you, as a player, there's kind of a different perspective, right? So looking at the stats, looking at what they do, height, weight, speed, strength, endurance, who would you have more trouble guarding, LeBron or Jordan?
I don't know, because I played more guard, right? So if I had to imagine playing Jordan, I don't see any way I could ever guard him. I mean, it's kind of a silly question, because I take the guy who wins is ultimately the hardest to guard. The guy who's scoring the most and is playing the best defense. Like you said, he's a better two-way player. I would hate to have to guard that guy. And who would you rather have guard you? You'd obviously want to rather have LeBron guard you than Jordan. Not even close.
Yeah, for me, I just feel that, one-on-one, I don't think Jordan was any match for him, man. We're talking about stats and in the league and all that, but just overall, if I'm on the playground, and I'm looking at these two guys, who do I want to pick? I'm picking LeBron every time, man. Bigger, faster, stronger, more efficient. Sure, he didn't win as much, but I said this in the last time. The competition. I mean, when you look at who was guarding Jordan, I mean, dude, somebody in the comments actually had the nerve to say, well, Jordan had good defenders on him too. Stacey Augmon guarded him and blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I looked it up. Jordan averaged 29.5 points against Stacey Augmon. If that's bad, then excuse me. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, we're talking about somebody who dominated all over on multiple teams, won championships on multiple teams. Now, if Jordan won on the Wizards, we might not even be having this conversation right now, right? If you want to talk about the what ifs. And that's what a lot of your argument is based on, the what ifs. Hey, man, if Jordan played this long, if he did this, well, the fact is he didn't. And the fact is LeBron did. And let me tell you something. Honestly, and this might be a whole show in itself, I think the shot was not as good as the block. I appreciate the defense. I appreciate what he had to do. The shot was something that we had seen from Jordan multiple times. Sure, it was on the highest stage at the highest moment, but it didn't require the physical abilities that the block did.
Physical abilities don't impress me as much if you can't put them into play and use them. I mean, there is an argument right now that LeBron's not even the best player of his generation. You could pick Curry if you wanted to, and it'd be a legit argument. I mean, Jordan had no competition like that.
All right, it seems like you guys want to continue this conversation. Are you both open to?
Yeah, that's fine. We can just talk.
Just shoot from the hip. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, with Steph Curry, man, I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't like him in the clutch. I really don't. People used to say that about LeBron, but LeBron has proven himself many times over in the clutch, hitting multiple game-winning shots and making game-winning plays and blocks. Steph Curry, I remember him giving a lot of turnovers in the peak parts of the game. Now, they were the ultimate frontrunners. If they were winning, sure, they would balloon the lead to 20, 30 points at that time and they were killing people. But when it's a close game, I do not want the ball in Curry's hands, and that's why they went and got Kevin Durant. So don't even bring up Curry if we're talking about people making super teams, because that's not an argument you want to have.
What were the clutch shots that LeBron's hit?
Well, we just talked about it. Well, first of all, shout out to Beyonce. I remember he hit one little fadeaway out of bounds 3-point shot right in front of her. And Jay-Z looked at him like, dude, are you doing this because my girl's here or what? But anyway, I digress. I love the left-handed shot off the backboard against the Toronto Raptors. Honestly, that team should have beat them. They were a better team. They had better players. But, again, LeBron's will would not be denied. The block, I mean, we've talked about it many times. It's one of my favorite basketball players ever. And Iguodala was killing that series. He was going to hit that layup. And also, shout out to J.R. Smith because the block would have never happened had he not undercut him and got under there. So, good job, J.R. Smith.
Yeah, and Andre Iguodala essentially won a Finals MVP by, essentially making LeBron shoot like 34% in the Finals. I mean, you just can't have performances like that in like 2011 and just be compared to Jordan. And then secondly, my debate was not so much based on what Jordan would have done. It's based on what he did do. It's just that if we want to, the reason why I'm bringing up the averages if you played it out is because that's the longevity argument against LeBron in terms of his all-time standings. Jordan essentially passes him up and all that too. And what was the play that Jordan made before the shot? It was the steal on Malone. So, yeah, I mean, So, again, a great physical play where you block Iguodala is not the same as having the entire world watching you and you have to hit a shot to win after you got the game-winning steal, too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that play, well, it was an amazing sequence. I mean, many times I'll sit there and watch it. One thing I love to notice, too, if you look in the crowd, nobody's got their phones out. Everybody's out there and they're watching the game, enjoying it in the moment. It's something that, we kind of need to reflect on every now and then when times are a little simpler, right? But I'll tell you, man, that was a moment that I don't think will ever be repeated. The steal was amazing. Him coming around and stealing it from Malone like that. Clean steal, too. I mean, there's no question. There's no foul. Malone throws himself on the floor, and, it's like, nah, dude, get up and go play defense. And, Jordan made that play. It was amazing. The whole dynamic of it. I mentioned before, I'm a huge Knicks fan, so for me, it was like, no, but you got to respect the game. Now, LeBron, though, I mean, he had many plays, not just sequences, not just one particular instance, but throughout the whole game, man, there were things that he did. He would really control the game from start to finish. I mean, he would be out there playing chess when everybody else was playing checkers. He's directing people around the court. He's helping people up. He's doing things that he should do, whereas Michael Jordan, he's known for not being the best teammate, and that plays in the locker room. He might have been able to win more or do more with his team had he done that. But, I mean, listen, it was the way it was. I loved watching The Last Dance. I love seeing Jordan actually get emotional at that scene where he needed to take a break because he said it, man, if you don't want to play that way, don't play that way. But that's the way he played, and he won that way. But you know what? LeBron showed us that it can be done another way.
Yeah, I don't really like the whole Jordan was a bad teammate. Your job as a leader, he is the leader, right? And by the way, you could argue sometimes LeBron wasn't the leader on his team, depending on how he was playing that night or in the finals. Jordan was always a leader. And the thing about I don't like the whole he's not a good teammate thing, like his job is not to coddle you as a professional NBA player. If this is high school, some kid down the street, is a little nervous or whatever, fine. We're talking about grown men playing in the NBA. I mean, Kobe was the same way. People used to say Kobe wasn't a good teammate or a good leader just because he was so hard on him. I don't really buy into that narrative. If anything, he is setting the example. He is letting everyone know this is how much work I'm putting in. This is how serious I'm taking it. And if you're not on my level, then you need to get lost or go to another team. And some people say that's cold. You're supposed to kind of nurture or kind of grow with a team or whatever. But we all know what we're here to do as professional NBA players. Like, Jordan was a great leader, arguably the best leader ever, in my opinion. Look at the results, the way he drove his team. Everyone knew their role. Everyone knew what to do. Everyone knew what was expected of them. And he turned to Kerr. What did he say, Kerr? I'm going to give you the ball, and you're going to hit the shot. And you better believe Kerr knew that when his time came, you better deliver. I don't really buy the whole Jordan wasn't a good. He might have been a little cold, a little harsh, but that doesn't make you a bad teammate or a bad leader.
I was going to try my hardest not to bring up Kobe Bryant today, but you did it. So since you brought it up, Kobe, the rhetoric with him is that he was a bad teammate. It's not that he was a bad teammate. He worked hard, and he knew he worked harder than you. And because of that, it gave him the ability to say the things he said. Jordan did work hard, don't get me wrong, but he was not committed to basketball the way Kobe Bryant was. Look at it just from their history. I keep bringing this up, but the man played baseball in the prime of his career. Sure, there were some personal issues that went on. There might have been some other, conspiracy theorists out there that talk about the whole David Stern going to suspend him for the gambling. I mean, look, let's not go there. The fact remains he did not play those 2 years, and they were prime years in his career, where he could have probably won more championships. You also had the lockout coming up after that too. I mean, there's a lot of things that happened with it, right? But at the end of the day, Jordan just wasn't a nice guy, bro. That's just what you hear around the league. And it's not like he wanted to build you up to make you better. No, he wanted to make you do what he needed you to do so he could win. So, it was very self-centered, if you ask me, the way it was. And you can see that the way he kind of approached all the social issues as well. I mean, we're kind of getting into like more of a political thing now. But just overall, man, who would I want to hang out with? LeBron. Who would I want to play on a team with? LeBron. Whose stats do I like better? LeBron. Like, who played against harder competition? LeBron. Who had a better career overall and career is still going? You know what I'm going to say. I mean, dude, when you look at the numbers, you can't shake your head at the numbers. I mean, it is what it is. Now, had Jordan played 20 seasons, you know what? This absolutely would not be a conversation. But the fact is, he did it.
I mean, the fact that you say if Jordan simply would have played, it wouldn't even be a conversation. I think that's kind of admitting that Jordan's a better player, right? Like, again, LeBron's main argument is longevity. That does not make you a better. That's not, in my opinion, a great argument for being better than someone, especially someone who in their prime did it better than you and for much longer. And for Jordan being retired 2 years, going to play baseball and coming back, yeah, he probably could have won more, but I think it adds to the lore. This guy was so good at basketball. He won a three-peat, took 2 years off, came at the end, like played 17 games or whatever in the 95 season, and then won another three-peat. Like, if there was ever any doubt. Yeah, I mean, I think it adds to the lore. I mean, yeah, I guess since we're having this debate now, I wish he would have stuck around just so we didn't have to have the debate. But I mean, again, I think that proves. I think that's a very subtle and slight admission that Jordan was the better player. Maybe if you want to take all-time numbers and stuff and you go by that, which is part of it, but Jordan is still right up there with all-time numbers. I think you're kind of admitting that Jordan was the better basketball player, which is essentially what we're here to argue. Like, the off-court stuff, I think that doesn't really relate to basketball or have anything to do with on the court or anything like that, or else Bill Russell would be like the greatest ever then or something like that. But I don't really think those things matter. Like, I think that was a little bit of a slight admission that Jordan was the better player. Had he just stuck around for even just a few more years, not even, I think he was retired for like 5, and the one he got hurt. I mean, if all you're saying is he just had to pad his stats a little more, or something like that, then I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say as well, and I think that kind of proves my point.
Like, I get how you're trying to flip it and kind of use it against me. Like, I see what you're saying, but there have been many quarterbacks. I mean, think about it. If you took a 3-year stint of Baker Mayfield and said, well, had he done that for 20 years, he would be the best quarterback of all time. But the reality is we're talking about Baker Mayfield, right? So we're talking about something that didn't happen. The fact remains he did take the years off. He doesn't have as long a career as LeBron. And LeBron has been here with longevity and performing at a higher level for a more consistent period of time. And he was overall the better teammate. And like I said, if I'm making a team, I'm definitely starting with LeBron first. And it's hard to say, like, if I could take his Cleveland Cavaliers team or his Miami Heat team and play the best version of the Bulls or whatever version of Michael Jordan was, because there's so many other elements. But if they were to play one-on-one, LeBron is waxing that fool, bro.
Yeah, but it's a 5-on-5 game. Like, I would almost give it to you right on.
LeBron was more of a field general. He would control the game, help his teammates. I mean, Jordan was a scorer.
Again, you throw in MJ's defense. There's no way that that LeBron's a better court general than the guy who's clamping down and getting more steals. He's the best shot blocking guard ever. He would have all-time more blocks than LeBron. There's no way. Like, people see the way Jordan is affecting both sides of the floor. That ultimately has got to be the better leader. I don't really see, just because LeBron has like more assists or something, or he's a little nicer to you. That's not a good argument to me.
Well, I see what you're saying, but one comparison I want to make is, you know how in boxing, right? When you get knocked out, let's say the way Manny Pacquiao got knocked out a couple years ago, where he's laying face down, right? That knockout is almost worth like 10 knockouts, right? That's how I feel about LeBron's blocks. I mean, he had a couple seasons where he was doing these chase down blocks that just you could literally see it deflate the other team where they didn't even want to attempt a layup after that. So I get what you're saying number-wise, but like I said, in the very, very beginning when I first was able to get the floor, let's talk about impact. And I think that LeBron had way more impact. He took a bunch of bumps to the finals a lot of years in a row, whereas Michael Jordan had a cast of really good players that he recruited. And when you look at it, man, LeBron did way more with less.
No, I don't believe that, actually. LeBron's played with way more talent than what Jordan had. Just because Jordan took his team to 6 rings doesn't mean he had better talent. Objectively speak, like, again, Scottie was the best player he ever played with. Whenever Jordan left for 2 years, Scottie's numbers did not really. Everyone says, oh, he had a great year. He had literally the exact same numbers. They barely went up, and his averages went down across the board. All, like, per game averages all went down. He had like one more point per game, but his field goal percentage dipped. You know, like,
right. But Tony Kukoc emerged into a star.
A star? Come on, man.
Yeah, at that time.
Come on.
At that time, Tony Kukoc
he was a star because he was on a 6-time winning championship team with Jordan.
He did not win 6 with Jordan.
I mean, no, that's what I mean. Like, he was a star because he was on some guy who was about to win his 3rd three-peat.
Well, you could argue with the other way around,
three-peat.
whereas when Jordan left, I mean, you look at the first time Jordan left, I mean, Horace Grant and B.J. Armstrong's numbers, they almost doubled their production right after Jordan left, and that's because they were able to get shots.
Well,
so
the more shots have to come, like you said, if you give your sister or whatever 40 shots, they're going to get more points. I mean, someone else had to shoot more, right? That's not really, I'm not too impressed with that.
So now you're helping me win with that argument because...
No, because we're giving other people the shots, and they don't win. You give Jordan the shots, he wins.
And another thing, too, like back in that era, right? I mean, it wasn't uncommon to see a game score be 74-77, right? Right? I mean, 81-84. I mean, and Jordan would have about 30 points of that. So ratio-wise, yes, he had more impact, but look at the guys now.
It makes it more impressive, too.
Yeah, I mean, they're scoring 120, 130 now. I mean, it's a smorgasbord. Everybody can score. So also with the three-point shot becoming more prolific, I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on there, too. It's really a hard comparison to make. The errors really make fights. The styles make fights. I just think that, one-on-one, LeBron would have beat him. Team-wise, LeBron was a way more impactful player. But I will give you this. Jordan was a winner. I mean, he went 6 times. He won 6 times. But at the same time, LeBron went 9 times in a row. And he's been more times than that. So
yeah, but on the backs of other people who always picked him up when he, was failing. Well, he fails a lot in the finals and the playoffs.
Who was the leading scorer when LeBron's teams went? Who was the leading person in assists? Who was the leading person in
steals? Like 20.
He was number 1 for his team, so
they won in 2015, right? With Kyrie. Was it 2015 or 2016?
I don't recall the years, but I think I know what you're getting.
So that Finals MVP, in my opinion, I know I'm in the minority on this, and this is a hot take. That should have gone to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving took Steph Curry out of the game 4 games out of that 7-game series. You go look at Curry's numbers. He averaged like 22 points in his 30-point average season.
But please, as a big man that plays basketball, as a power forward, let's please give Kevin Love his props.
Another great that he played with. You're right.
They were calling him the Steph Curry stopper because off of those screen and rolls, man, he had to pick up Steph. And that's why Steph's average was so low. It's not that Kyrie was doing anything. He was getting screened.
No, it was Kyrie for sure. I watched that finals very intently. Kyrie was doing all kinds of things to Curry. He had like 11, 13, 16 points in 3 of those games. That was all Kyrie Irving chasing him around the court. Kyrie Irving only averaged like 2 points less than LeBron. I mean, Kyrie should have got that finals MVP. He had way more fingerprints on that game than LeBron. And LeBron, by the way, gets to have the ball more, so he's going to have a few more assists. Kyrie Irving essentially shut down Steph Curry to win that championship.
LeBron would have the ball more to establish a play, to get a rhythm, to get his guys involved. Jordan would have the ball and say, get the hell out of my way. This shot is going up. Rodman, get the rebound if you want to shoot.
And in the 4th, Irving flat out beat LeBron in production. It's not even close. LeBron was getting his 30 points in the first 3 quarters, and here comes Kyrie Irving to save the day almost every single game in the 4th quarter. You go look up the 4th quarter stats. Irving dominated that series, not LeBron in the 4th quarter.
You're right. And you know what? No one on the Chicago Bulls ever hit a shot except for Michael Jordan.
Maybe a shot or two, but no one took over like Jordan did in the 4th.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you right now, if I'm on that team, I'm not playing defense. Because you ain't passed me the ball when I had a dunk, and now I don't want to play defense.
Jordan's job is to score. That's not your job.
I hear you. I mean, like I said, it's a debate we can all.
You have a score like
Mm.
Jordan. You're like, oh, I want to shoot. It's like, nah, man, I be hustling my ass off on defense because I want to play.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, we go on for hours.
Yeah. I think it's a good time to stop it. I think it was a great debate. I let it go on past the 10-minute mark because
Yeah, it was a good talk. I enjoyed it. You were good to talk to.
Yeah, it was great, man. This was
Yeah,
dope.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I love how we're both respectful. You know, we can kind of keep it going and do little jabs every now and then and not take it personal, man.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I like talk a little sternly. I don't mean to like come off. I guess I'm just trying to like emphasize my point sometimes. So if I did, I didn't mean to do that at all. But yeah, I enjoyed it for sure, 100%.
Not at all, man. This is great.
Awesome, good.
All right, Chris. I know I invited you before, and I know that there was a misunderstanding that it was Father's Day. But if you'd like to come on the live stream on Sunday, you're welcome to. Nick, you're welcome. You've come on multiple times before. Of course, you're still welcome. I could talk to you both offline about that. For everybody that's watching, this weekend we're doing top 5 enforcers of all time. So
I think it's gonna be a good debate, good talk.
Now, how many people on the New York Knicks am I allowed to bring up?
I was gonna say the same thing with the Pistons.
all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I could even throw Charlie Ward in there. I mean, like he was pretty scrappy too.
Yep. For everyone that's watching, I will be putting up a poll. Please vote on who you think won this debate. You can say Chris won. You could say Nick won. NMB Sports also, he has his page. Go check it out. You could say that it was too close to call. You want to see it running back. And otherwise, just put a comment. Again, I want to thank you both for coming on. And for everybody, Michael Jordan fans are the best. But yeah, thanks guys.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Good show, guys.
Now the camera's
really
off. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, man, that was great.
Yeah.
I love your camera presence. You know, the way you communicate is very good. You obviously prepared for this. You had a lot of stats to throw my way. I feel like you were actually better prepared than me. I was ready for just like the whole thing to be an off the cuff conversation. But yeah, man, I had a great time. I hope you guys did too. Thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, I really hope to do this again, man. This was good.
For sure. Yeah, you should come on Sunday.
Sweet, man. Yeah, thanks for the invite. I will do that. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I'll send you the information in the near term. I still got to make the room. I invited the guy who I canked at the last minute because he was not responding to me. So I feel bad. I usually only invite people that I've had on the show just to make sure they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Or just
Yeah. Just be respectful of people's time.
Yeah. So hopefully, especially live, like I'll take a chance on somebody recording it, but I'm gonna give him a chance. I mean, worst comes to worst, I kick him off the show. But he's been cool in the comments, so hopefully he doesn't get naked.
Yeah, and I don't think that Juggernaut guy is gonna show up. So he apparently like deleted his account today. For what it looked like. Yeah.
Like a faker?
I don't know, man. He just like totally disappeared on all my comments and shit, and I couldn't find him.
Interesting. Well, I mean, whatever. Yeah. You know, I get better that way, I guess, right?
But yeah, will you come on Sunday, Chris? You're saying you'll be there this time?
Yes, and if you would, I mean, if you can, maybe just send me an 8:30 text just to remind me. Just because in the morning it's like, wait, what am I gonna do? So I'll be on it. I got it in my head now. I'm gonna put it on my calendar, but just to be sure, because the last thing I want to do is miss it again, man. Because I was really bummed that I missed it, and I wanted to actually jump in my car and jump on if I could, but I wasn't prepared for it at all. So I apologize for that. I meant no disrespect, and it won't happen again.
Oh no, it's all good, man. I mean, like you said, it was Father's Day, and I get it.
Yeah.
That was my Father's Day getaway.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing next year for sure, getting away.
Well, I mean, okay. But But I mean, I hung out with my family the rest of the day, but that was my guilty pleasure, I guess. I usually only do the live streams a lot less than that, but waited a little longer. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna I'll be putting this up on the channel soon. Chris, I hate to say it, but it's a Michael Jordan channel, so
Yeah, don't take the poll too seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm ready for the L, man. I'll be the villain. That's why I tried to get a little bit excited on some of the things I was saying, so I could kind of portray the bad guy because I saw where it was going, and I'll totally feed into that. I'm okay with it.
I like that.
I'll have something I'm promoting, so I'm not worried about people giving me hate mail. I actually had a hell of a time reading the comments on our last one. Really, some of them really made me laugh. It gave me an idea of like what Hollywood people deal with. I was waiting for who the hell does this dude think he is? Like I was waiting for that, but you know what? Everybody was pretty respectful.
Yeah,
I just thought it was funny. Yeah, I just thought it was funny. It was pretty cool.
We got this guy, Politicus Rex. I'll let you guys go. I know. It's been over for some time at this point. We got this guy, Politicus Rex, comes on. He's super smart. He's a former overseas pro basketball player.
He played pro overseas.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I knew he played at a decent level, but I didn't know he played overseas.
Yeah, and he's super smart on basketball, and he'll come on here and just argue basketball, even though he knows he's gonna lose, but he just does it anyway.
Yeah, he's a good sport for sure.
And he he does come off the cusp a lot, but he's just so smart in general in basketball. Like if you're being objective, you can say that in a debate setting that he won some of these debates, and or just in general, and but yeah, no, he's great. He's another bad guy on the channel.
Yeah. I love it.
We're getting like the WWE, like people going heel and being babyface here. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, I'm here for it, man. Whatever you need, I can be the bad guy. Especially the fact that I have a baby face. You partner that with the bad guy, I'm gonna piss some people off, and it's gonna be great for you.
That's hilarious.
Absolutely, man. Let's do it.
Very true.
I know this is all basketball, but one time I would love to bring up boxing, man. I'm really into boxing. I love the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fight. I would love to, speak to the guys about that and see opinions and what people think about that. Just throwing it out there. I'm not here to change anything. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Like, if you ever want to talk boxing, man, I would love to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I had a show earlier with another guest. I'm a big boxing fan too. And I don't know.
Tyson, we could do. I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit more of an MMA guy. I'm trying to get more into boxing, but it's definitely one of my weak spots.
Combat. I like combat sports.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
Rip
matter.
his head off.
Yeah. It doesn't matter as long as there's some sort of blood in there. I'm on board.
Yeah. And my quick take on MMA is that I'd rather watch boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, judo. I'd rather watch those than watch MMA. Now, I'm not saying MMA is not entertaining, but if I want to watch good fist fighting, I want to watch good feet fighting, I want to watch good takedowns and submissions, I'm going to watch the actual sport or the actual martial art.
Yeah.
But yeah, MMA guys are the best in the world because they can do it all. But to me, I find it more entertaining to see the best of the best in, but that's, whatever. That's my minority opinion. So.
Yeah, and actually, I think that's a great thing for you to mention on the show. It's definitely a debate we can have in itself. What combat sport is the best, or however you want to do that. I like MMA just because, in fighting, which unfortunately I've been in a few, is sometimes, man, you got somebody that's got faster hands than you, and you got to take them to the ground. And that's why I appreciate MMA, because like sometimes I'll admit, okay, this guy's got faster hands, but he's not gonna out wrestle. So I like that ability. Whereas in boxing, man, if you can't cut it, you're out of there. That's it.
Yeah. No, I and that's, and I, like I said, I appreciate MMA. Those guys are the best in regards to who am I going to pick in a real fight betting. Yeah, and again, I don't want to keep you guys forever, but
y'all gonna watch the draft tonight?
No.
No.
Yeah, I don't watch the draft.
Yeah.
I'll look at Bleacher Report. You know, I don't need it.
You'll see what happened later tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal. But then you have moments in history that I saw a clip recently where David Stern met like a whole row of NBA players, and it was like Kobe, Ray Allen, Tim Duncan, Dirk, like everybody. It was just like, wow, man. So maybe 20 years from now, we'll look back at today and be like, man, I should have watched that draft. You know, but look, I can talk sports all day, obviously. I would love to do it anytime. You guys call me up, you got a show. If I can be there, man, just call my name and Michael Jackson style. I'll be there, all right? Just
For sure.
Moonwalk in. He's not wearing pants, by the way. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
no
kidding.
pants. Yeah.
Don't
No
need
pants,
them.
flip-flops.
Just weighs them down.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll never get too mad and stand up, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta save that for my OnlyFans.
If LeBron is better than MJ, then stand up. No, I'm just kidding.
All right,
Cool,
guys.
guys.
All right, man. I
All right,
appreciate
man.
it. Yeah, that was fun.
All
I
right,
look forward to seeing the video, man. See you guys later.
Absolutely. See you guys.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye.